Please enter the current time. Of course. Of course. Oh, it was not AM. Hang on. Before we get started, can I just say something? Thank you for actually setting the clock both times you booted up the game. A lot of people don't take that step seriously. They just leave the clock set at 12 and call it a day. But you're actually taking the time to set the clock, and I appreciate that. Well, I set it to the wrong time. So, that's how I know that you care about this experience. You're paying attention. No, I'm not, because I just set it to AM and it's not AM. I don't even have any way of knowing if the times you're setting are correct. They're not, because I didn't know you could change it from AM to PM. Tell you what, I'll make you a deal. Since you've been so cooperative, next time you boot up the game and see the screen, just set the clock to your favorite time. Go ahead, pick whichever time you want, even if it's not the correct time. You've earned it. Alright, I'll let you get back to the video game. Because that would be great. The end is loading. Yep, that's what it's doing.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427.
Oh, the balloons are in there.
Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-lifting, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly
Is that better?
his job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would
Also, hi,
forever
Toxie.
change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Oh, I got an achievement for that. I got quit the game and started again. That's an achievement. Oh, that's funny. Oh, the balloons from the last time are out there.
All of his co-workers
Get well
were
someday.
gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting
this phone
room.
is
Perhaps he had
ringing.
simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
It's the bucket.
Stanley picked up the bucket.
No, it's a bucket. Surname access.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Nope.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be.
I mean, look at it.
And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How insightful the bucket turned out to be.
Number one, Dad.
Truly,
I love money.
being here with the bucket was a grand adventure. Stanley reflected on all they'd been through together. First, walking through the door on the right, then walking to the lounge, then arriving at the lounge. What a thrilling journey the bucket had inspired.
Here we go.
No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
Did he? Did he though?
No,
said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift. Good,
said the bucket.
now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up
there's
there
a
I need you to
Stanley
do.
over there.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
I'm so good at games.
I'm so good at games.
No, stop. Look there on the wall. You see, there's a sign right there. It says, "No buckets past this point." Stanley, how could you think it was okay to bring the bucket here? Unless, what if the problem is that you actually don't know what is a bucket and what isn't a bucket?
I forgot about
I suppose
this
that
one.
would explain a lot about your behavior up to this point. Which, if that's true, well, my goodness, I think we have to do something about it. This misunderstanding could have dire consequences on the entire rest of the game if not addressed quickly and properly. So much of the impact of the story is dependent on your understanding of what is and isn't a bucket. Please, step in here for a moment.
In this dark abyss over here, doesn't seem like a good idea.
Hey, look at that! Look how creepy that is!
Exactly. That looks like I'm just gonna die. Oh, I died. That's what I look like.
Now then, I'm going to run you through some test scenarios, and you'll tell me whether or not the thing I'm showing you is a bucket.
Okay.
Simple enough, right? This should tell us everything we'll ever need to know.
Providence.
Or
Yeah.
is not a bucket. Okay, let's begin.
Okay. Is this a
Item
bucket?
1. Is this a bucket?
Yes.
Incorrect. It is a hologram of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
Oh, bullshit.
Item 2. Is this a bucket?
No.
Correct. It is a 3D printed recreation of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
How would I know that? How would I know that?
Item 3. Is this a bucket?
Yes.
My fist
Correct. This is
in
a
your
bucket.
face, which is where it'll be soon.
Now the bucket's gonna be in my face.
Item 4. Is this a bucket?
No, that's not a bucket.
Correct. This is a tractor and not a bucket.
Tractor.
To be honest, I just sort of put this one in here as a gimme, but I was starting to get concerned that even this might be too much for you. Thank you for not making me look like an idiot. Okay, next one. Is this a bucket?
No.
Incorrect. This is a bucket.
What? That's not a bucket, that's the tractor again. I've been lied to.
Item 6. Is this a bucket?
Yes.
Trick question. Both. Gotcha.
It's a Schrodinger's bucket.
Item... Wait, hold on. I can't find the next one. Let me see. Should be around here somewhere. Yes. Thank you. There's nothing here. Of course it isn't a bucket. We both know full well that nothing isn't a bucket. Wait, when I say nothing isn't a bucket, that makes it sound like I'm saying everything is a bucket, which of course is not true. Unless... Is that what you think? Answer me straight, Stanley. Are you trying to tell me that you believe everything is a bucket?
Do we believe everything is a bucket? Let's see. Would Stanley believe everything is a bucket? Yes.
You know what? I'm too confused to even sort it out. I've lost all sense of perspective. What is a bucket? What isn't a bucket? Mere moments ago I could answer these questions with confidence. And yet now I'm somewhat adrift. Do any
We
of us
confused
know
the
what a bucket
narrator.
is? Am I a bucket? Stanley, I can't keep doing this. I'm losing myself, and myself was all I ever had to begin with. I'm afraid the bucket is threatening to tear our relationship apart.
Is the narrator a bucket?
I'm sorry, but I'm going to erase all buckets from the game entirely. Okay, here we go.
Oh, we didn't get to answer. Aw.
What happened? Is everything gone? Why did everything disappear? Wait, was everything a bucket? Every single thing in the game was a bucket? Oh my God, I had no idea. How could... Except me. I'm not a bucket after all.
Nope.
And you, Stanley, you're still here.
We're not
You're
buckets.
not a bucket either. Oh, this is wonderful news. We're not buckets. Yes, I actually feel much more at ease right now. It's delightful to get some clarity on that issue, but it doesn't change the fact that we haven't got a game. So, tell you what, I'll reset everything and we'll put back all of the buckets, okay? And we'll know that it's all a bucket. But if you run into anyone else, maybe don't mention that. Who knows what that information might do to a person? All right, here we go.
That was great. Am I a bucket? Are you a bucket? Are we all just buckets in a bucketless world?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had... Stanley lifted the bucket into his arms, and a wave of comfort rushed over him.
Oh, man.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest.
Nope.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this no? Never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
I want to get the stain marine.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
I want the stain marine.
You found one of them. One of the miniature Stanley figurines. Remember, no reward for collecting all of these, only the intrinsic pleasure of a job well done. You can't buy that sort of happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried. So, I implore you to savor each and every moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines.
Into the vent we go. Oh, we're in the secret room. There's cassettes everywhere. Look at how many there are.
Okay, this is day number 295. Tape number... I don't even know. I've lost track.
Slow zoom.
Nothing feels real anymore. The longer I study this bucket, the less sense anything makes. The sheer euphoria I feel every time I pick it up.
That sounds like a you
No
problem,
matter
buddy.
how many times I've done it, it's always the same feeling. And the emptiness in my chest when I set it down
Again, sounds like a you problem.
doesn't make sense. There's no explanation for it. I still haven't figured out why I see the world so differently when this bucket is in my arms. Why everything feels so... What do I do with this treasure?
I don't know. Sounds like you're obsessed.
I can monetize it. Yes. It's unthinkable the amounts of money people will pay for even just an hour with the bucket. This is my golden ticket.
I don't know. I think you're just crazy.
Because as soon as this gets out, there's going to be a target on my back. Even now, I don't know who might be trying to get... What's that? Who's there?
Well, that was creepy. What the fuck was that? Oh my god, okay.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had sent... The confusion and the chaos all seemed to melt away as Stanley embraced the bucket. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place.
I know, that's such a
And
weird
here it
thing.
was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this no? Never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go good.
Said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
I know, I
Stanley
can't
did not
believe that came
question
from
why
Stanley
or how this bucket was speaking to him.
Parable.
It should have
That was
alarmed him, of
wild.
course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
In here.
Said the bucket.
Go into this dark room over here.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
Yep. I wonder what happened.
Now
if you
pick up the
open-
phone.
Whoa, hold on. Why did you unplug the phone? Were you trying to resist the bucket's orders? Stanley, I was joking. Obviously, the bucket isn't talking to you and telling you to do things. Buckets can't talk. It was a joke. Don't you get the joke? It's funny, Stanley. A talking bucket.
A
Could
talking
you
bucket.
Oh, goodness. I must have really bungled up the delivery. If you
First, we
actually
don't
took
know
this
what a
serious.
bucket is,
Where did I
and
mess
now-
up the joke? Should I have paused
Now we think
for
it's
longer
talking.
or spoken quicker? Comedic timing is so difficult. I wish I were better at it. But there isn't exactly an instructional video on comedy that one can watch to foot. Oh wait, yes there is. It's sitting right here. Let's take a look.
Okay, guys, we're gonna get an instructional video
What
on.
is comedic timing?
There you
What
go.
is comedic timing? How does it work? How long should it last? How can it be used to effectively silence your political enemies? And more importantly, can it be taught in its entirety within 90 seconds? Thankfully, the answer to all of these questions is yes. Let's dive deeper. If you ever told a joke or made someone laugh, in all likelihood, you did it while standing 50 to 80 centimeters from them in a room of no more than 76 degrees Fahrenheit with one of your arms raised straight upward at a 15-degree angle from your body. These are
Have
the
you ever told a
optimal
joke this
conditions
way?
for good comedic timing. To begin the joke, start by stating and spelling your name. Next, provide a brief synopsis of the joke, including the specific times at which the recipient of the joke will laugh, and then spell out your name a second time. With these steps complete, it's time to begin the humor. Speak the entire joke in no more than 18 seconds and no less than 13 and a half, pausing only for bathroom breaks when necessary. When the joke has concluded, it is customary to inform your listener that the joke is over by declaring in your loudest possible voice, "I'm Dunny with the funny."
I'm
Let's
Dunny
practice screaming,
with the funny.
"I'm Dunny with the funny" now.
Okay. I'm Dunny with the funny.
Good. This saying is a perfect example of expectations management, which is the cornerstone of good comedy. Finally, it's time to hand out surveys. Collecting hard data from your audience on how rapt they were throughout the joke is the only way to grow or learn as a comedian. An effective survey should be no less than 10 pages long and should include the same question reprinted several times, just to ensure the survey taker is actually paying attention and not simply filling in answers at random. And that's all there is. With these strategies at your disposal, you'll have audiences doubled over in laughter and even tripled over in laughter in no time at all. Just remember to let them stop laughing at some point, you gut-busting little scamp. After all, with each of us needed on the front lines of the war to fight the 12-legged invader who threatened our very existence, and to very likely die in a hailstorm of bullets and mandibles, all of us must be prepared to give our lives to this noble cause, just as our children must do after us, and their children after them. Godspeed, and may Earth reign supreme.
Hey, goodness, this video is a little outdated, isn't it? Well, no matter. I think the fundamentals of proper comedic timing are still as relevant today as they were back then. So with that in mind, I believe the only way forward is for us to return to the two doors and walk through all of this again, so I can try telling my story with more appropriate comedic delivery. Come along, let's head back.
So for those who missed it in the ad break, we just literally went from a short about comedic timing to fighting insect invaders. Yeah, I agree. That was wild. Oh boy. Also, I'm Dunny with the funny is the best way to end a joke.
I can feel it. This time, I'm really going to nail the delivery. You'll be in stitches. A talking bucket, you'll say? How ridiculous. How absurd. What a hilarious
Please, I
concept.
want him to
The
say,
king
I'm
of
Dunny with the
comedy.
funny.
That's what you'll call me. Thank goodness we had the instructional video. Otherwise, who knows where we'd be right now. Well, I wouldn't be the king of comedy, that's for sure. The bucket spoke to Stanley.
The bucket spoke.
The bucket spoke. Oh, I'll figure it out on the fly. No need to overthink things.
I love that. I'm Dunny with the funny. Oh.
Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two open doors, they entered the door on the left. What? We're back at the phone already? No, what's going on? There were supposed to be several rooms leading up to this. There was supposed to be a build-up to this point, a dramatic display of remarkable comedic wit which culminates in this scene with the phone. But now the timing's completely off. The joke will never land, or not the way it was meant to. And it's all my fault. I must have forgotten that the phone room comes immediately after the two doors room. What an egregious mistake. I've made a fool of myself. I don't deserve the title of King of Comedy. I'm nothing. I'm not even the lowliest joke-telling whelp. I think I need to go back and rewatch that instructional video again. Yes, surely that will help me improve my... Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two open doors, they entered the door on the left.
Nope. Whee!
What? We're back at the phone already? No. Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket
Oh my
came to a
god,
set
I
of
wish.
two open doors, they entered the door on the left.
But I don't think they do. I think that was just a joke.
What? We're back at the phone already? No. Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two open doors, they entered the door on the left.
Okay, fine. I'll follow the rules.
No. You were supposed to go through the door on the right, leading back to the phone. Did you not even look at the instructional video? I think this is all covered very clearly. There's no way I can make the comedic timing work now. It's done. The joke is completely done and over. It's all your fault, Stanley. I'm going to be ridiculed in the community of other joke writers. I'm going to be shamed at every one of our meetings from now on. All because you couldn't watch a simple video and take a hint. Are you proud of yourself for bringing me down, Stanley? Are you...
Yes, I'm very proud.
Stanley, you love the bucket so much it's like you... it's as though all of your other most prized possessions pale in comparison. Yes. Let me try that again, Stanley. I heard that you are pale with shame over how unabashedly in love with a bucket you are. No? Still not? It's in the delivery. Pale with shame. Pale with shame. Pale... What's another word to describe a bucket? Stanley, this bucket is so metal, I think I saw it playing guitar. No. We're getting away from making fun of Stanley's obsession with the bucket, which was the whole point of this. I'm no good at these jokes. I need more instructional videos. That's exactly what it is.
That's
Then
exactly
what will
what it
make
is,
me
Neri.
a king of comedy again? More